Dispenser going up. Well, I guess that'll do.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Engineer's Brain. Engie Brain. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the JAG. These clips should exemplify some of the strengths and weaknesses of using the JAG, and the type of playstyle I think that benefits the JAG the most. I'm using the Eureka effect to set up, but the main loadout that I'm going to be using during this clip is the Frontier Justice, the pistol, and the JAG, of course. So while we set up, I'll talk a little bit about like the theory behind using the JAG. Like, there are two different types of engineer you can play, right? Like, you can play defensive engineer and you can play offensive engineer, but the JAG, I think, allows you to play both. You can play like defensively offensive. It makes you pretty like pretty malleable as far as like what you're going to be doing. And alongside the Frontier Justice, specifically for this clip, it's really nice because if your gun gets kills and it goes down, then it's fine because one, you get revenge crits from it, and two, your JAG allows you to build that gun pretty much immediately afterwards. So we're going to be putting it really far forward here. We're basically making a suicide gun. I mean, like, if this gun goes down, whatever, I can rebuild it. If it gets kills, then that's great because I have the Frontier Justice. So we're just going to be upgrading the dispenser while it does whatever it's going to do out there. So this spy jumps down out of nowhere and I kill him, but you know, my gun finally goes down and I've got 5 revenge crits and the gun is already back up on the flank here. Scout kills it, but I've got Frontier Justice crits, you know. I can defend myself and the gun's already back up again. And since I got 2 kills over here, I'm going to move it. I'm getting chased out by the demo man, but when you're playing like a surprise gun, because I mean, like, this usually only really works if you're putting the gun in like random spots, if you're putting it in places where people don't expect it to be, so that it gets kills based off of surprise, then the strategy is to keep moving it all over the place, and keep the enemy on their toes. So it gets sniped here. I put it like right in front of this sniper because I trust my friendly sniper to be able to take him out while I'm doing that. Now, kind of embarrassing situation there. I honestly don't... At the time, I think I just didn't think that those would kill me. I thought that they were far enough away to not to kill me in one hit. But I don't really play against the Scottish Resistance very often, so I think just the different style of sticky threw me off. But all my stuff goes down, including my sentry gun, which luckily went down while I was alive, so I'm able to benefit from those 5 revenge crits, and they're taking the first point. So we're going to set up on second, which I think is great, because I actually really like playing on this point with this loadout specifically, because people can just peek over that hill, and the gun pesters them a lot. It's kind of hard to see the gun until you get right up on the cliff, until it's too late to back out, so... but I mean, now I have revenge crits, and if my gun gets kills, then I get more. So therefore, I hold off on shooting that demo man, so that my gun can kill him instead. And I learned from my mistakes. I'm trying to actually shoot the Scottish Resistance stickies. Now my gun looked like it just spontaneously disappeared there, but I destroyed it myself because I got 2 kills and I wanted the revenge crits from it. I want to always have at least a little bit, just a spoonful of revenge crits, if I can. And because the JAG is so great at rebuilding, if I have a spare moment, I can just rebuild it, just like that, you know? It's already back up. Now, I built it a little bit further behind the cliff because I wanted the other enemy team to get a little bit more confidence that they could actually peek on that cliff, but they can't. You can punish the people's confidence with your revenge crits, and it's great. You get your sentry gun in the front, your revenge crits in the back, It's you're a one-man army. It's a very fun and very powerful way of playing the game, I think. Playing engineer. And while I'm upgrading the dispenser, I get stabbed by a spy. I actually didn't even realize that you could get stabbed by a spy there. So you live and learn. Now, we're on to Swiftwater, and how did I get up here? I don't know. I'll try and explain how I did later, but a lot of stuff happens in this clip. I'll try and explain it as best I can. Now, I'm using the Wrangler, the Rescue Ranger, and the Jag. And this soldier, he can see my gun from here, so I move it. I move it out of the way of his rocket fire to kind of bait him out, because he probably saw me move my gun and said to himself, you know, now's my chance. And he's vulnerable. He's moving his gun. Now's my opportunity to strike. But by the time that he had that thought, my gun was already rebuilt, and he gets killed. And that's the power of the Jag, I think. That's the real thing, is just being relentless. Always having your gun up, even when your enemy thinks that your gun is down, it's not. Now, I'm using it with the Rescue Ranger because it's kind of it's the opposite of the last loadout, which is I don't care if my gun goes down, it's whatever. But with this one, I'm actually going to try and maintain my gun with the Rescue Ranger, which is pretty great. Now, I get kind of bullied down into this ravine, and normally it's kind of a pain in the butt to get out, but if you're an engineer, you can dispenser boost yourself out. Kind of useful. My sentry gun was being sapped by a spy there. Now, when I was talking last episode about how, like, if your sentry gun is it's about to get sapped, or you can't get to your gun before it gets sapped, destroying your sentry gun can deny the Diamondback user from benefiting from it. So with that little trick, if you're on a regular sentry gun and you switch to the mini sentry, you can basically delete your sentry gun before it finishes sapping, and they won't be able to get credit for it. Now, I'm getting bullied out here. The pyro's about to kill my precious dispenser, so I Rescue Ranger it out of the ravine, and I don't know, my team kind of like they're back at square one, so I'm just gonna try and get back up on top of this building again. It'll give you guys an idea of how I got up it before. Obviously need a Wrangler. I had switched to the pistol to try and give myself a little bit more self-defense before, but now that we're trying to get up there, I'm going to switch to the Wrangler. I miss it, but I noticed that there's ×3 on the cart now, so I might as well just, forget it and move all my stuff forward. The Rescue Ranger gives me a lot of opportunity to move my stuff really quickly over to where I want it to be, which is really nice. And the Jag allows me to have that stuff up very quickly as well. It's a very good combination. The Rescue Ranger covers the weakness of the Jag in such a great way, where you can't really heal super effectively with the Jag, but when you're using the Rescue Ranger, it kind of makes up for it a little bit, since you can heal at a distance. Kind of nice for that. So later on in this game, I switched to the Frontier Justice because my gun had like 4 kills on it or something. So I switched to the FJ so that I could take advantage of them. And I don't think I realized at the time the amount of trouble I would get into by doing this. I just kind of wanted to do it for one life and just kind of take advantage of the kills that I got. But I mean, as you can see, my gun is already it's already got 2 kills. 2 kills and an assist. And I still have 6 revenge crits to go, so and I also find an opportunity to get behind them, so yeah. I've got 13 revenge crits now, and I'm basically spawn camping them at this point. So I put my sentry gun in their eye line, basically, like right when they walk out of that bottom door, they're going to see the sentry gun. It's going to be kind of a distraction. It's going to direct them away from where I'm standing. And I kind of do want them to kill my gun here, because like if they kill my gun, then it'll give them the confidence to move forward, and I'll be able to strike. That Heavy knew something was up because he saw that spy get domed, but this poor engineer didn't see he didn't know what was coming. Now I wanted to get some some metal to build another gun. But little I know, there are people up here. Like, where did these people come from? And where did that pyro go? He disappeared. And then this spy shows up. I'm basically causing a lot of problems. And my team's, you know, now my team is finally showing up. I used the last of my revenge crits. But now that I'm out of crits, I die. And that's kind of the downside of using their Frontier Justice is if you don't have crits, then you just don't, you're not very effective. So this last clip we're going to look at, this is kind of a good example of using it in a situation where you probably could benefit from tanking your gun, but because of the type of people I was playing against, I figured that being relentless was more valuable than tanking. Because this is on Uncletopia, and shout out to the people who play on Uncletopia. You know, like there's some pretty good players who play on there, and it's a lot of fun to play against, a lot of fun to play with. But as a result, they're all very adept at taking down sentry guns. So right there, even if I wasn't using the Jag, I'm not even sure if I would have been able to tank that. But because I'm using the Jag, I can confidently have buildings up more often than if I was using the stock or some other wrench. So when you recognize your like environment and you see like, oh, these guys are going to be pretty darn good at taking my sentry gun down, I better adapt to that by making it so that, hey, even if you do take my sentry gun down, I'm going to have an answer to it. And I'm on the shotgun as well. Because earlier in the round, I think there were just more spies. So I valued my self-defense a little bit more. But in hindsight, I probably could have used the rescue ranger just as fine. So they Uber in here. I take out the Wrangler to tank most of it. I mean, the Wrangler is just good all around. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're using a sentry gun, the Wrangler is going to be good. And also, right there, I think the gunslinger engineer on our team was helping me. Now, I probably could have upgraded that earlier. There we go. Now it's finally level 3. The cool thing though about this positioning is, I mean, like, I can afford to be really aggressive because like, if my gun goes down because it's being aggressive, then it's fine. I can rebuild it. And I would much rather just be aggressive with my gun and force people to look at my gun and force people to take it out and shoot at non-player characters, essentially, NPCs. The sentry gun is an NPC in this situation. Than my teammates, because my teammates are, well, they're worth more than a sentry gun. You can't really say that a whole lot about your average, maybe like casual mode TF2 player, because they could totally just be some random, fresh install, and a sentry gun is going to be more valuable than your average teammate. But when you're playing on these kinds of servers where people are playing in these types of games, rather, where your teammates and the enemy team are competent, I think that there's an argument for wanting to have your sentry gun up as much as possible, because you'd rather the enemy team shoot at the gun that you're always going to have up than your teammates who are going to be better than a sentry gun. So they try and get a gun up here, but it gets punished. And my team is playing pretty aggressively, so I'm going to try and match that aggressiveness with my gun, try and upgrade it. It goes down to 1 HP there. That was kind of a crazy save. Pretty lucky. But I'm able to tank it. I mean, like, when you only have one person shooting at your gun, using the Jag to tank it, it's still fine. I mean, like, it's still able to be done. The spy gets in, he saps, and as you can see, right after that happens, the demo man comes in and pretty much deletes it. I didn't even notice that it was happening until he did it. Finally used my shotgun on another player, but I mean, like, it's called, I think it's either a pub push or it was called that the sentry gun was sapped and the demo man killed it. So basically the entire team finally makes their push. But by the time that call is made, and by the time that the enemy team actually comes in, my gun's already back up. Like, it's pretty. I think it's pretty funny how playing with the Jag can kind of bait the enemy team quite a lot. Because when your gun goes down, they get the confidence to go forward, and you've already got your gun up. So that was it. That was playing with the Jag. I hope that those clips exemplified the strengths and weaknesses of the playstyle and the unlock effectively. And I will talk to you nieces and nephews next time. Goodbye.